The United States has helped the various governments of Iraq in the most difficult times. We know that the Kurds have helped 100% in 2016, 17, 18, and even before that. And the US supported the Kurds, it supported the Iraqi army. Our air force and assets really were the ones to break the backbone of ISIS, Daesh. So now it is time, I think, for the government of Iraq in Baghdad to return these favors. The Trump administration, the United States Congress, in my view, but of course they will have to make the statements, believe in partnerships, in several levels of partnerships. They are developing now this partnership with Erbil, with the KRG. Of course, they understand the unity of Iraq, but the central government in Baghdad need also to help in terms of allowing their partner in Erbil, if it's really a partner under this constitution, to be able to trade internationally. That's exactly what the Trump policy is all about. Trade at a national level, trade at a local, regional level, and maybe connect all of that with eventually the Abraham Accord or with any form of common market in the region. So the trend of this administration is to increase the trade at all these levels. So we hope that Baghdad will facilitate this policy. Second, it has now, after the visit of President Trump to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, and to the UAE, developed further partnerships with economic giants. The state of Iraq, Baghdad, need those partnerships. I mean, if Iraq, the Republic of Iraq, wants to develop, of course, it would prefer the developments by the US with the Arab coalition. And if in this case, the Arab coalition and the United States and their friends will have to message the Iraqi government and telling them, we need to work all together. You have an opportunity now, that's Baghdad, to show the world that your position is really pluralist, like your constitution says, and you need to allow the Kurds, KRG, to have their own trade relationship, especially with American governments, all under the law. I mean, there is nothing illegal in that. It's about policy. And it's about time now that all our partners in the region will understand, respect, and support US policy in the region. It is the only right path, because any other path will be a retreat from solidarity, retreat from partnership, allowing radicals to emerge in different places. It's really the actual right path to take. And Prime Minister Masroor Barzani has done the right thing. He met with all the departments in Washington. This is a signal by the Trump administration that they like to work with the KRG. It's very clear. There's no rounds about it. But the hope is that Baghdad, Prime Minister in Baghdad and his government will really understand what the Trump administration is seeking and then bridge all these gaps, first with the United States and second at home with the KRG. With the Prime Minister, we knew for a number of years, but we have observed his work as a Prime Minister also for a number of years. His visit is very successful. He briefed me about what are the future projects that the KRG is developing. He also briefed me about projects that would be of specific interest to the American public. And it's not just business and money. It's also about culture. It's also about spirituality. Kurdistan is a region that is developing economically very quickly because of its resources, but its people are thirsty to make sure that they can partner with the values of the United States. And there are tens of millions of Americans who would be willing to visit, some of them for business, others as tourists. But we discovered that there are also millions of Americans from different religions, including Christian evangelicals, Catholics, Muslims, Druze, others who would like to come and visit. Northern Iraq, especially Kurdistan, the KRG, may become like other countries, like in northwestern Saudi Arabia, like Jordan, like many other places, places that you can visit and then spend money and then build relationship. That is the vision that the Prime Minister is developing. And in my own view as advisor here to members of Congress, a former advisor to Donald Trump a long time ago, I believe that this is the right path. This is how you create a future of stability in the region. Oh, absolutely. The energy sector always begins because it has the muscle, it has the money, but it would need other sectors to come as well: education, social, as I said, tourism. But the idea here is, if I'm not wrong, the whole package may go up to 100 billion. Now, when we talk about that size, it's one fifth of the package between Saudi Arabia and the United States, and these are giants. So now Iraqi Kurdistan is moving up on the ladder to become a serious economic development. And we also hope that in defense as well, the US, under the leadership of Donald Trump, would allow or would demand from Baghdad that relationships between Washington and KRG, relationship between the Pentagon and the Ministry of Defense of the KRG should become straight. Of course, Baghdad is always notified as long as this is a one country, but for making sure that KRG is helpful in counterterrorism, in the defense, and also in all sorts of security matters, that the United States should be able to go straight to the KRG. And as many states inside the United States, they do trade, they do relationship with countries around the world, that the KRG should be able to do international relations with the rest of the world. Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the norm. I mean, take the example of Europe. Europe, after a devastating World War II, two bitter enemies such as France and Germany that were at war for 100 plus years, they became the nucleus of the European Union market, and then that became the European Union. Baghdad needs to understand that that the KRG, that Erbil and Baghdad could be a nucleus for a wider market. It's only for the profit of everybody else. So when there is a trade between the US and Erbil, Erbil has its own trade with the rest of Iraq. And this symbiosis, this special relationship would reflect with all the countries. I hope that there will be an opening in a new deal or a better relationship between the US and Iran. But Turkey is there, Syria is there, and beyond those, you have the entire Arabian Gulf, Arabian state system that would be open to Iraq. I would recommend for the leadership of Iraq to consider Erbil as a partner, and whatever benefits come to the KRG will eventually, by the law of nature and economy, will be a benefit to Iraq. Iraq needs also to get to some markets that the KRG can get to for a variety of reasons. It's a profit for everybody. The United States benefits immensely from various levels. Level number one is that the KRG has created peace and stability in northern Iraq. Northern Iraq is the center of the Middle East, if you look at the map. So it's excellent that the KRG has been able to, number one, maintain that stability. Second, the KRG has also helped the United States in pushing back against ISIS, against Daesh. I mean, they have sacrificed villages, towns, peshmergas, etc. The KRG also is a kind of a guarantee for minorities. We know what happened during the war against Daesh. I mean, without the KRG, the minorities would have been completely erased at this point in time. There is a very healthy debate between minorities and the KRG, but that is a fact. Also, the KRG is a candidate to become partner in this regional system that the United States, that the Abraham Accord is building. And KRG could be one of the first regions to start a dialogue, to start special relationships with the coalition that will become basically the Abraham Accord and help the rest of the regions to align. And the last point is there is a new political, cultural, spiritual renaissance happening in Erbil. I mean, we all knew here, or we all watched the conference on religious protection and international freedom that took place in Erbil. This is very advanced. I mean, to the United States, to the public of the United States, obviously they have their historic partnerships, such as, for example, with Israel, with Saudi Arabia. KRG should be aligned among these very special partners. Well, the relationship with the administration are good. They can continue to be better and better, and it is happening. The two branches, the executive branches, the huge federal government and, of course, the government of the KRG are already going into that direction. My recommendation would be that the two legislatures, Parliament in Erbil and the United States Congress, continue to develop and widen and make it almost cyclical, that they have joint meetings, joint visits. That would be helpful. It's done with the European Parliament, with national parliaments in Europe and elsewhere. But thirdly, what needs to go faster and grow in the direction where people-to-people diplomacy starts is between the people of the United States and the Kurdish people and the other minorities in northern Iraq. We saw the beginning, like the conference I have just mentioned, the spiritual conference on religious liberties, make it into an annual event, which is going to be an annual event. And also the last but very important system is university to university. Once you have this web of relationship, you elevate the relationship between Kurdistan or the KRG and the United States of America. Oh, absolutely. Economy, we saw what the president has done over the past couple of weeks. I mean, he went to the heart of the Middle East, to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar, and the numbers can speak for themselves. But beyond that, obviously, having healthy relationship with communities, national communities, ethno-national communities, such as the KRG, can only expand the future of the entire Middle East. They're going in the right direction. I would say those relationships that are government to government are slowly becoming people to people. And I mentioned a few examples, but just imagine when there will be movies being shot in Kurdistan about the Middle East and about the relationship with America, all sorts of literature, history studies. The real relationship are not just money to money. That could change. Price of oil could change everything. But once you have a deep knowledge in America of every town, every valley, every historical site in Kurdistan, it will be equal almost that with what we have with Israel or with France or Britain. And of course, what's happening, the huge reforms happening in Saudi Arabia. A destination in America is Dubai because of all what Dubai is. It should be also Erbil, and it's heading there.